Tennis elbow, aka lateral epicondylitis. You got it? What you gonna do? Jody here. I got a question from one of my community members, and it was around tennis elbow. He said that his chiropractor had told him he now has it, and his question to me was, what should I do? Well, I'm no medical doctor, but here's what I would do if I had tennis elbow or pretty much any other injury. This applies. All right, rule number one, do no more harm. In some ways, that's easy because if it causes you pain, don't do it. And for, when we're talking tennis elbow, I'm really focused on what's going on in that forearm. So if supination bothers this gentleman, stop doing that. There's a fire going on. We got to get the fire, the inflammation down, reduce swelling, reduce pain, etc. So if supinating bothers it or hurts it, don't do that. This man may or may not still be able to curl, but he may need to be in a neutral position when he's curling, like this with the wrist, as opposed to supinated, if that makes sense. So don't forget rule number one, do no more harm. Avoid things that hurt. All right, so let's dive into that just a little bit more. What are the activities, and I'm especially thinking about repetitive activities that this person may be doing that's contributing, bothering, or causing the problem? Believe it or not, this mouse, a man that's sitting, or a woman too, but I'm really speaking to men here mostly, clicking on this all day long, that repetitive motion can cause or further aggravate a problem, such as problems in the forearm, such as tendonitis. So what I ask that man to do is, and I know no one wants to hear this, mouse with the left hand. And to be honest with you, it takes a couple hours to get used to it, but once one gets used to it, it's easy peasy, and it gives this right form a rest, which is badly needed. So whether it's, think about what is the repetitive activity that is causing that problem. Is lifting weights hurting or further aggravating? If so, you got to find what's giving you the pain. You got to stop that. Is it mousing with your right hand? Can you use your left hand? Is it waxing a car if a man's in a detailing business? You got to find a way to give it a break. You got to use your left hand more. Not too much because you don't want to cause a problem over there, but you got to find the root cause of that pain. You got to give it time to rest. This is not a scenario typically where we're going to work through it. There is a time to work with a physical therapist, a chiropractor, or whatnot to work on preventative exercises or exercises to even, say before preventative, to fix, to get it better. And that's a sort of a whole nother conversation. But rule number one, do no more damage. Do nothing that's causing it pain. Sometimes we have to search for it because when I strained both of my shoulders several years back, I would do something that didn't cause me any problems in the gym that day, but the next day I would be hurting. So you really have to kind of put on your detective hat and figure out what it is that's causing problems and furthering the inflammation. So we got to stop putting fuel on the fire, to give it rest. Number two, get deep tissue work. I screwed up that. Get deep tissue work. A couple of examples of that would be the Graston Technique, which is fantastic, where they've got like a metal tool. It almost looks like a butter knife, and they'll just go to work scraping on this, in this case, probably the forearm area. And it's quite amazing what they can do. They can break up that deep tissue. Oftentimes it releases, it turns into purple, red, just bruising and whatnot. It hurts like hell, by the way, but that's progress. I have had this. I've had a sore elbow for years and years, and one Graston session bruised this all up, and it fixed me. I could do tricep exercises that I had not done in years. I'm healthy and pain-free now, big time, at the age of 50, so I feel extremely blessed. But if I were to be injured, I'd go get some deep tissue work like Graston. Another one that comes to mind is ART, active release technique. Chiropractors, some chiropractors actually do both of these. These are kind of patented name brand techniques that chiropractors are paying for. So they may not actually do those techniques, but you can ask for them, because if they don't do them as is, and pay whatever fees they need to pay to do it, then they may have their own versions. But at the bottom line, deep tissue work is huge. I won't get into the details, but simply stated, if we've got a problem in the elbow somewhere, quite oftentimes the root cause is overly developed, improperly balanced muscles or nodules, these hard knots that get in there that basically limit or stop blood flow. I want blood flow. This man wants blood flow to get to that elbow because blood flow is nutrients, it's healing, it's oxygen. Blood flow equals healing, and so we want that. And there's a time and a technique where I'll use, like for example with shoulders, once they start getting better, I may go back and do like really high reps of something that does not hurt. Rule number one, don't do no more injury. I may want to intentionally put 20 plus reps into an area like shoulders, for example, in order to help facilitate faster and better healing. Ice, yeah, it's okay. Honestly, I'm not a real big fan. Maybe for the first 24 hours or immediately, sort of after working something to get the inflammation back down. But I'm not a real big fan of ice. Ice and aspirin have their places, no doubt. But I'm thinking more along the lines of healing. There's a point in time where if you're doing no more damage, you're on the up curve of healing. You want to send more blood to that area via high reps in order to facilitate better and faster healing. That's not where this man is right now with his tennis elbow. So at this point, it's do no more damage, do nothing that hurts it, get some deep tissue work. And then my third point would be BPC 157, Body Protective Complex 157, BPC. This stuff is fantastic. And so there's two ways that this man could use. There's a couple of ways. One is he could do the oral, ingest it orally, and it works systemically, and it'll go work to help fix that elbow. Another way is the injectable, and that can be like sub-Q and/or really near the problem area. Both ways work. There's studies that demonstrate both work. I've used BPC 157. I think it's fantastic. It is like if testosterone is nectar from the gods or God, BPC 157 is nectar from the angels. It is fantastic for healing. So those are the three things I would do. I would suggest to this man, do no more damage, get deep tissue work, and get you some BPC 157. If in Texas or Louisiana, Ways to Well is a great source. If outside of those states, Defy Medical can prescribe BPC 157. There's others out there, but those are just two that I know of. Hope that helps. Let me know if you've got any questions. Take care.